Welcome to historic City Hall. We're delighted to be here this morning to share some really good news about our efforts to end chronic homelessness in Winston-Salem and Forsyth County. It's back in 2004-2005 time frame. We created a Blue Ribbon Commission to look at homelessness in our community. And we found that on a given day, there'd be about 500 individuals who are homeless on the streets of Winston-Salem. And of that number, about 200 were chronically homeless. That is, they were been homeless for a year or more, had been in and out of the system for 3 years or more. This Blue Ribbon Commission, if you will, worked hard and created a plan to end chronic homelessness in 10 years and recommended creating a commission. So in 2006, the city and the county governments both adopted this plan, and we created the 10-year plan to end chronic homelessness commission. And it was chaired by Chris Henson, who could not be with us today. Chris is the Chief Operating Officer for Branch Bank and Trust Company here in Winston-Salem, but we do have other members of that task force with us today. This commission took the plan, which is a vision to end chronic homelessness in our community in 10 years, and they felt like that if we could have the full support of our entire community, we could in fact be successful in addressing this problem. And why are we doing this? I mean, obviously there's a moral reason to help homeless individuals get back on their feet and get back in a productive society. But from a community standpoint and a financial standpoint, it makes great sense because it costs much more to provide services to homeless individuals than to get them into a permanent housing situation and into a productive work environment. So that's the effort we've been doing. Today, I'm very, very happy to report that based on our most recent counts, we have seen a 58% decrease in chronic homelessness in our community since the baseline of 2005. Overall, we've seen homelessness decrease 40%, and here's a really good fact as well. We've seen a 49% decrease in homeless veterans, which is a great achievement there since we started collecting that data in 2007. I sincerely want to thank Chris Henson and members of the Homeless Task Force, the 10-year plan task force, because of their hard work. We're seeing these numbers behind us. I want to thank Andrea Kurtz and the staff who have worked so very hard. Tim West is here from our staff who've worked very hard to make this happen. This is good things for our community. It helps us all. It makes us feel good as a community for doing something, and it makes economic sense as well. It's now my pleasure to introduce Wanda Brindle Moss, who is the chair of the Homeless Caucus, who can really bring the message to us from a personal standpoint. So, Brenda.
Good morning. It is my honor and privilege to stand before you today, a woman who was homeless at the tender age of 54, coming out of a long-term relationship and living in my car in December of 2009 in 10-15 degree weather. I was one of the lucky ones. I had a roof over my head. I was also lucky in many ways. Because of a diagnosis that I have, AIDS, I didn't have to go to the shelters, but I went through transitional housing with AIDS Care Services. They are my lifesavers. The thing that I have learned in my journey with homelessness is it can happen to anyone. Any one of us on any given day, at any time in our lives. What the great thing that Winston-Salem has done for us living with homelessness in this city, Mayor Joins, David Harold with the Forsyth County Executive Homeless Council, persons like myself are no longer invisible. We actually have 2 voting seats and are a part of the decisions that are made regarding homelessness in our community. And I'm very grateful. I lift all my brothers and sisters up that are still living in homelessness and help them realize that there is hope. They are not lost. They are not invisible, just like I'm not. Thank you. And let me Let me please introduce United Way's own Cindy Godinier.
Good morning. What an exciting day. This is a great day for the community, but it's also a great day for hundreds of people just like Wanda who aren't invisible and who have a better life today than they did 5 years ago. And so for that, we should all be celebrating today, because that is could be any one of us, and how exciting for us that there are less people in that particular circumstances. In 2006, the United Way joined with the county and the city to implement the 10-year plan. And it has been our honor and our privilege to be part of this and to be standing here to be part of the congratulatory celebration when we can look at the results and know that the good work that we've done have had impact on lives and real lives in our community. So as one of the community leaders in developing collaborations and working together and leveraging resources in order to have these types of impacts, we're really pleased that we can be here today to be part of it. And I also want to tell you proudly that we have, since 2006, we have leveraged more than $6.5 million into the community to achieve this accomplishment that we're celebrating today. And that has allowed us to be in the place we are, and to know that for those we are still seeking to help, that we will do so in the future. So thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for allowing us to be part of this. And now I'd like to introduce John Bost.
I'm John Bost. I'm on the 10-year plan by appointment for the county commissioners. This is an opportunity for service to our community in the greater Forsyth County and not just the Winston-Salem area. I do represent the mayors and the municipalities around Forsyth County, and excited to serve. The 10-year Plan Commission on Homelessness, again, as was indicated earlier, was started in 2007 to oversee the implementation of the plan. And several community projects that support the goals of the 10-year plan have created over 530 units of supporting housing. Such projects include Hunter's Hill, a 12-unit supportive housing project for people with disabilities. Helping Veterans Heal, 24 units of supportive housing for homeless vets. And as Mayor Jones just indicated, a special focus given to ending veteran homelessness, the supportive services of veteran families, a rapid rehousing style program for veterans, and the Forsyth Rapid Rehousing Collaborative. You're hearing some of the ways those monies were spent that were leveraged and brought into greater Forsyth County. That is a rapid rehousing program serving very low income people who are currently homeless. We are also in the process of developing the Community Intake Center. Some of you will know that is the Prosperity Center off Old Lexington, Walltown at the intersection. And if you're as old as I am, you know that is the old McLean Trucking Company. This centralized assessment center will help us coordinate access to housing for people who are homeless and help to keep the community focused on the goals of ending homelessness in our community. Again, on behalf of the greater Forsyth or the urban Forsyth community, we all are indebted to our community, and except for the grace of God, there go I, and you as well. So I am actually privileged to be a part, to represent, again, in Chris Henson's absence, the 10-year plan. This time I'll introduce Doris Paez, who probably is one of the most valuable citizens for Forsyth Futures in Forsyth County, and actually digging deep the data that we need to know to better serve this community. Doris?
Good morning. Thank you, John, and thank you, everyone. In the fall of 2011, Forsyth Futures introduced homelessness as an indicator as part of our work in looking at the economic self-sufficiency of our community. Over the past 2 years, along with the 10-year plan to end chronic homelessness, the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Council on Services for the Homeless and the United Way, we partnered with them, and they provided us a better way to look at data. This morning, we are very pleased to release the Making Progress report on homelessness. And what we have found is that we were really looking for a better way to give the general public empirical and objective data. We were also looking for ways to increase awareness on the issues surrounding homelessness. And we were looking for ways to assist our organizations that are helping and working with the homelessness. And more importantly, how do we apply this data? So along with the point-in-time snapshot that you've seen, we sought to really capture a broader, firmer picture of persons who are homeless. And we did so by studying the Carolina Homeless Information Network, or CHIN, a little deeper. This gave us a picture of who is actually receiving services in our community. And as you look at that, you see that an estimated 3,194 persons experienced homelessness at some point during the course of 2011. And while you've seen this morning that we have made enormous gains, we have met many of our targets with subpopulations, like the mayor said, our veterans, our chronically homeless, our single adults. We're also finding that we need to keep our efforts, sustain our efforts, and we're going to have to re-energize in some areas, such as homeless families. We're finding that that number is slightly increased in terms of, we're finding that over the course of about 12 years, within families, there was an increase of an average of one person a year in a family, in families. So what we're asking this morning is that you look through the report that has a lot deeper data, that you share it, and we look forward to continuing to work with the city, our partners, and our community to update this data, get better data, and most importantly, make this data work in our community. So we are thankful to be here this morning and thankful for our successes. And at this point, we will open it up. Anyone of the group that you just heard, we are happy to take requests in terms of questions. And our team here from Forsyth Futures is here as well to answer questions. Thank you. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Doris. Well, we are celebrating today, certainly the 58%, but we can't forget the 42% that, as Doris has alluded to, that we still got to continue to work on. We're underway right now with a fundraising effort to allow us to hopefully close the gap even further. As was alluded to, we've actually created 88% of the housing units at our goal we started out with. We had a goal of 600 units, and we've created 88% of those. But we've got more to do. So let's just remember, we've got to stay focused. We've got to raise some more money to help put that number up at 100%, which is our goal.